All right, we'll try this again. If you got this part of the video, if you got this part of the video, you got the live unedited edition. We're on take two. That was the name of my daughter's show choir group, Take Two. But tonight's take two because we've tried this twice. Hopefully, we'll have better quality this time than we had last. We'll get out there.
It's looking better, that's Mike. Better. Yep.
It's looking better.
That's weird. I did the trick.
Yeah, it's so bizarre how sometimes that does that. We're a little late tonight. We'll just go a little bit later. So thanks for coming out. There's a bingo, by the way. If you haven't gotten it yet, Emily, repost the link in the chat room for the bingo card. There's a Home Gadget Geeks bingo card for tonight. Apparently, for anybody who's Luddite, you need to print it out and get your bingo sticker. If you're born in this century, you can just click on the boxes. So click on the free space box and get that set. But Emily has the bingo card in there. There was no pre-show, so to speak. It was mostly trying to troubleshoot this. If you are watching this part of the video on the live page and you're wondering, like, oh my God, when is this show going to start? Jeez, Jim, give us a minute. Jeez, we just came back. By the way, I'm going to take a drink, but you can't count this on the bingo card.
Doesn't start yet.
No,
yeah, we have not gone.
We're not. Right, it's not starting. You could, if you're listening to the recorded version of this later, you could download the bingo card and follow along. Will and Mike will encourage others during the show to download it and follow along as they do that. So.
Tweet at us when you get a bingo. If you're not live, send us a tweet over the weekend or whenever you listen to the show if you get a bingo.
Yeah. Love to hear from you. So Hannah. So Emily did a nice job of putting that card together. That'd be kind of a fun, I don't know, maybe you would add some things to the bingo card. Emily, what's your Twitter account? Would you create another card for us if we had people with other ideas? Would they you got to go listen to Story Behind. That's what you have to do. And then well, Peter, if you don't have a Twitter account, get one at Story Behind Pod.
Then get one.
Get one.
That's the answer.
That's it. I have no compassion for that, Peter. I'm just saying.
You're living under a rock, man?
Next thing I'm going to say is you don't have Facebook.
Now that I would understand and support.
Lopta, if you're seeing last week's show, refresh. Of course, he wouldn't be able to hear that. You might be if you see. Well, if you're seeing Christian, then yeah, you're seeing last week's show, but you're not hearing that. So that's a little weird. Yeah, I am wearing red. Mike is too. It's Nebraska Thursday.
Go Big Red.
That's right. That's right. Oh. So you can, so Peter, if you, whoever doesn't have Twitter, you can send those over in a message on Chatwing tonight while we're speaking. Emily will be watching the chat room for those. So that's how you do it. If you don't want to tweet at us, you do it that way. All right, Mike, I think we're set, man.
Cool.
Everything's looking good there. Man, I'm drinking way too much beer these days. Okay, well, let's, so good. So good. If you, again, if you're in the bingo and you want to add something to it, throw it in the chat room in quotes. Maybe put bingo word and then in quotes, put what you want to add. Emily will capture those. Maybe another day she'll make a bingo card for us. All right, here we go. Let me do this thing. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 359, recorded on June 14th, 2018. Here at Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home. News, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios here in beautiful Bellevue, Nebraska. A little windy today, but the warm weather seems to be, Mike, I think maybe a nice weekend coming up.
Yeah, we're in for I think, what did they say, a heat advisory until Sunday, which
Oh,
I
maybe
mean,
not then, huh?
well, but heat advisory, but I think it's supposed to be clear, which is great because this weekend is opening weekend for College World Series. The
Yeah,
best. It's
that's
the start of
true.
the best in Omaha, at least
Yeah.
for the summer. It's my favorite time of year.
Yeah, next 2 weeks in Omaha will be pretty nuts, and a million people will descend upon the city of Omaha for the College World Series here in the United States baseball. And it's a good time if you ever get a chance to be in Omaha this week of June. It's really mid-June to the first part of July or end of June. It's fantastic, and it's really the best of Omaha. And the city pulls out all the stops. We have a really good time. The NCAA, and that's a pretty tech-savvy stadium as well. They do a lot of stuff with tech over there. And there's plenty of parking. It's a great deal. So if you ever get a chance, maybe not this year, but next, to be in Omaha at the end of June for the College World Series, it's always pretty awesome. It's always hot, and we always have a massive thunderstorm during the first weekend.
Everyone's got to run over and load into the Quest Center, which is our big, auditorium where the Creighton Blue Jays play, and it's always a big ordeal. It doesn't really affect. See, I don't even notice living out in West Omaha. You could go the entire 2 weeks and not really realize the College World Series was here, but your workplace, Gallup, is right there, so it's got to make your commute crazy.
No,
I don't even know how
the games are off schedule. So like if you leave it between 5 and 6, that's in between games. And so it's not too bad. I come in the mornings. It's not bad. No, they actually worked it out pretty nice. But the Gallup campus is a stone's throw from the stadium. And if you're ever in Omaha, stop by and say hi. You would catch two of us. I bet we'd take you to dinner or meet up with you here in the city of Omaha if you were doing that. It would be good to do that. By the way, I'll also say tonight we're doing bingo. You want to stop. You're like, bingo, dude, really? Yeah, no, we've got Home Gadget Geeks bingo going on. Emily Prokop was kind enough to put together a bingo card for us. All the things Mike and I say, we allude to, all the little nuances of the show. We've already done maybe 3 of them, Mike. I'm pretty sure
someone might already have a bingo. Who knows?
We talked about the weather. I said 2018. Some of those things are on the card, right? And if you're listening to the recorded show, here's what we want you to do: is if you want to go to the show notes, the link for it will be in the show notes this week as I put it out. Download it, listen along, play bingo. Send us an email or tweet at us. That'd be probably better. Mike is Uyghur Tech at Uyghur Tech, and I am at Jake Collison. Let us know you got a bingo. It'd be kind of take a picture of it, do something like that, drop it on Twitter. We'd love to see your interaction with the show. And so, again, that link is in the show notes. If you're listening to the live show, it's in the chat room. So click on that, open it. You can click on the buttons and keep track of things as we go along. So head out there and get those show notes and get that done.
That was one of the most fun things I did on my old podcast. One time I randomly just asked, I don't know how it came up, but I was like, hey, tweet me a picture of the setup of how you're listening to this or watching right now. I got some of the coolest tweets of like pictures of, I got the people driving in the car listening. I got people that were watching it on their living room TV. It was kind of cool to see how people listen or watch the show. Everyone's got their own unique setup. So you guys can include those if you want to.
It's a lot of fun.
How you got your bingo.
We're going to talk about this tonight. We've been getting a lot more action in the Facebook group since we've been highlighting that. So thanks for doing that. We've always had some pretty good action on Twitter. And so don't forget to use Twitter with us. That's a great way to get it done. Mike Howard said he came in late and he missed I'm assuming the bingo. It's okay, Mike. The link is a little bit up. Emily, maybe you can throw that back in the chat room again. There's another, throw that link in the chat room. That's one of them right there. And you can.
Lob's got a bingo, he says.
You can still, it's very possible.
You just got it.
It's very, very possible. So now try for the blackout, right? If you already have a bingo, try for the blackout. Lots of fun. Let us know how it's going. It is a replacement, other Jim, for the drinking game that we have. We used to try that. I don't know if that was really that successful, but so anyways, don't forget you can get the mobile app. Go out to the show notes. You're going to want to for this one. One, there's going to be a bunch of links out there you're going to want to follow, but 2, it's going to have the bingo card. So you can go back, follow along, click off the things as we say them. A ton of fun. Emily, thank you for Emily Prokop. Put those together for us tonight. And thanks for doing that work. Don't forget, you can also subscribe or download our app. We got a free app for this thing, homegadgetgeeks.com. We thank LastPass. There's another square. We thank LastPass for their sponsorship of that as well. And then don't forget, if you're listening in iTunes, subscribe, rate, review. That's not iTunes anymore. It's Apple Podcasts. Subscribe, rate, and review. If you're in YouTube, you can subscribe to us and click the notification bell. And don't forget, if you're on Spreaker, you can follow or subscribe to us out there as well. We will last week apologize. We started a post show and my voice just like immediately went out. It was awful. So other gyms said quit and I agreed and we dropped. So no crypto, some big crypto updates, especially around Burst tonight. So you're going to want to stay around for the post show to be able, there's another square again as well, and I think two actually in that sentence, but you want to stay around for the post show to get that done as well. Mike, go ahead.
Well, yeah, and one more thank you, because I threw out a question last week. I threw out a question about my lighting in my bathroom, and I could not figure out. I said, hey, there's got to be an electrician here. And then Eric Janowski sent me a great email. Eric, I still need to get back to you with a reply. I have read it, and I just need to get back to you on that, but I really do appreciate it. He got back to me, and we're hopefully he's going to help me figure this thing out. So I'm going to take some pictures. I'm going to take it apart, take some pictures and send it to him, because I honestly don't know how to answer his questions. That's why I didn't respond. I'm like, that's a really good question. So I'm going to have to get out the tools and see
it was a smart answer.
It was a very smart answer.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
I gotta get the tools out and reply back to him. But I always appreciate it when I throw a question out there and you guys are always on top of it and get back to me.
Always super to have that interaction. We recorded a Cyber Frontiers as well. And as of tonight, June 14th, I don't have it produced yet. I'm waiting for Christian to do a few more things. But sometime this weekend, it should be out. So you want to check the YouTube or you want to check the feed or whatever you want to check. Cyber Frontiers 44 will be out. We talked a little bit about GDPR, which was good. If you're wondering what's going on with GDPR and what is that about, Christian and I spent some time talking about it. I also spent some time asking him the same question I asked you last week was, do I need with Spectre, do I need to, what do I need to do? Well, Christian Johnson has some answers. Cyber Frontiers 44. Go out and have a look at that. While we're doing thank yous, I got to thank our Patreon list continues to grow, and we really appreciate you guys for all that you do and for the sponsorships that you do. And a long time, I'm going to just do a quick rundown of the names. I might mess up a few, but it's really important. You guys are a big part of our community, and that's really important. First and foremost, Brian Auer has been a Patreon subscriber from day one and has been super generous. And so, Brian, thanks for what you've done. You've been on the longest. You've given the most. Brian, thanks for. I think he said tonight he's out there in the chat room. He just did some stairs, so he's laying on his back.
Flights of stairs. That's rough.
Yeah, I hope that was for exercise and not because he was forced, like it was a forced labor camp,
right,
or something like that. So, Brian, I hope you're okay on that one. But so John, and I think it's a Deloitte, something like that. So if I mess that up, I apologize for doing that. But Ryan Jackson, I mentioned Brian Auer, Tim Watson, who just jumped in, is brand new. Andy Coffey, James Duncan, Amar Riggins, Nathaniel Lindley, Chad Davis, Trevor Stevens, Jonathan Hill, Chris Brown, Kevin Schmidt, I'm going to assume that is, Mark Robson, Ryan Kirshner, Jay Cleveland Payne, John Larson, Chad Johnson, Gavin Campbell, Emily Prokop at the story behind. By the way, extra value tonight. Emily, thanks for doing the bingo card. Paul Brarin, Mike Shell, Michael Ray, Eddie Ramirez, Kevin Schoonover, who deal master tonight. We'll talk a little bit about him in the conversation bit. Justin Simmons, John Biggs, Eric Janowski. So we talked about Eric as well. Peter Dennert, Jim Shoemaker, Dwayne Johnson, Malcolm Lacey, Mike Uyghur right across from me. Mike, thanks for that, for what you do there. And then Steve Sleeper over at the North Omaha History Podcast, which one of my favorite podcasts with story behind. Guys, we really thank you for doing the Patreon and kind of supporting. If you want to jump on that list, you can do that super easy. Just head over to theaverageguy.tv/Patreon and get that done. We also post the post show, the crypto conversation, on Patreon. It's free, so you don't have to be a Patreon subscriber. But that's where we post it. So if you want to go and get the post show, we post it at Patreon. We thank you guys for your sponsorship of the show and everything that you guys do to make this possible. All right, and then don't forget, in the show notes, bingo card if you want to go out and get it done, and you can play along with us. Okay. Remember, Mike, we're changing formats a little bit over the last couple of weeks. We've been trying out this new format. News, reviews, product updates. This is what I say in every time the intro, right? News, reviews, product updates, and conversation. That conversation we're taking either from Twitter or from Facebook, and actually in the Facebook group, if you go to facebook.com/groups/theaverageguy, we'll get you to that group. Just ask to be put in. We are taking the conversations directly from there, and there's some great ones this week. One of the ones I appreciated, Kyle Wilcox posted on, and you can't see the picture because it's an audio podcast, but he says, I don't understand all this fancy grill tech you guys are talking about. I just go in the backyard and light some wood on fire. And he has 2 brick blocks on either side and a grate kind of over the top. He's bought one of those barbecue grates, got some old school wood. Mike, bonus points for just grilling, right?
Bonus points for everything. Being a man, creativity. I mean, he nailed it. And also for great utilization of the backyard. 100%. I think he wins. I mean, if I could go that way,
doesn't matter. Right in the middle of the grass, he is cooking. Well, there's some options. By the way, there's some gadget options. I saw this on Amazon, but I actually first saw this at Home Depot the other day. I was going to look for some grilling rocks, and they have just disposable portable barbecue grills now. They're just think of like a tinfoil pan with briquettes in it, a little wire grate on top, and then 2 little legs on the bottom that just kind of fold out. $8, right? $8 to $10 if you need a grill, Kyle. So I'm just going to say, if you need a grill, not terribly expensive, to go out there. We have a link to that, to the Amazon store, if you want to go out with a disposable portable instant barbecue looks like. You can do that as well. Mike, you and I are gas grillers, and we talk about that all the time. But, if you're in a pinch.
I'm a pellet griller, actually. I grill everything on that pellet grill. I don't have my propane one stopped, and I haven't cooked on it in a while.
Well, there you go. But in a pinch.
Yep.
Just go buy the disposable one.
Exactly.
And then recycle it when you're done. To put the briquettes in a safe spot so they don't burn your garbage can down. That would not be good if you put hot briquettes in your garbage. A garbage can fire, never a good thing. Never good.
Fire.
Yeah. Smells bad. The raccoons don't have a place to live.
That's the worst part.
It's just not a good. It's not a good thing. You also, so Emily last week. So by the way, bonus in the show last week, right? We were looking at these D-Link Wi-Fi cameras, Wi-Fi security cameras, right? They're the DSC 936Ls. Again, link in the show notes if you want to go out what we've done. Mike, how it ran down, how the pricing ran down last week as we were looking at these Wi-Fi. Tell us how that happened.
Well, that was insane. So you guys, when you posted it, Jim, you said, I think this thing is like $25. Is that what you guys got it for? So you guys are talking about $25. Emily jumps on it, $25. I'm like, all right, I got to get on this thing. If it's $25, I'll grab one. Go on there. And it was $32 for me within minutes. So within about 10 minutes, it was up to $32. And now it's back up to $45. So, the price swings on Amazon when on these sort of devices are just crazy. But overall, I'll let you review it first, and I'll tell you about my experience and how I got mine set up too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it a little bit in the review. Emily posted some pictures from it. I did as well in the Facebook group. So if you want to kind of see what's out there and what's available for you, we will talk about it in a review. But Emily said the camera's coming in today, and I've been reading more in the reviews, and I came across this one in which the owner used it to catch his wife cheating. My husband and I have been trying to figure out exactly what's going on in the picture, though. The picture they posted, you really couldn't see what was happening, but it was apparent there was some hanky-panky happening, right? And how old am I to say hanky-panky? But that's what I said, all right?
Yep.
Get past it.
It's all right.
Yeah. So that would, you have to go out and read the review. We're not going to read it here, but the review is super funny. As this guy he installed it, kind of was wondering why chairs were left out on the deck and some other things, and so he puts his camera in, and that happens. Emily posted a picture. She got it. We actually got them a lot faster than I thought we were going to.
I agree. Yeah, it was way ahead of the Amazon shipment.
No, they were in quick, super easy to install. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Emily, thanks for posting out there in the Facebook group as well. I think Ryan did as well. He posted a picture of his from his garage. And that would be, was that Ryan, Mike, that did that?
Yeah, I think it was Kirshner.
Yeah. So, where are you putting your security cameras? Like, show us a picture of your porch or the backyard or some of those kinds of things. How are you angling that? I have mine looking right out to the porch and then covering the sidewalk as it comes up. So anybody coming up to the door, I can get packages that get set there can be watched. Mike, I am finding just having a camera up there, like people notice, like, they come at night. They definitely notice, right? Because the lights are on. Yeah. Yeah. Do you find? Go ahead.
That's the biggest part is like, a lot of times people are saying, oh, you can turn off the LEDs so they're not as noticeable. I want people to see these. Like, I want them to be very noticeable because, the camera, a lot of times, sometimes when someone walks by, you're not going to get a clear enough shot of their face anyway. So it's really a deterrent more than anything. So all of my cameras are on all the eaves of the corners. I have a big sign right by my front porch that says, this area is monitored 24/7. And like you said, I think that's more of a deterrent than anything. They look up and they see 4 different cameras that could be catching them. And like, maybe I'll skip this house. All you need to do is just have them skip your house and go to the next one, right? That's all you're trying to do is get them to I'll skip this house.
Yeah,
you're right. The light probably does work.
I think it does. And I still want the drone that's in a box in the backyard. And when the front camera detects motion at the porch, it takes off.
I still think that's a great idea. You need to invent this thing.
That would be so awesome. And then all of a sudden, you hear that, and that drone is just sitting up there maybe 50 feet or whatever. Right. And I'm being watched,
Right.
So if you haven't picked up one of those, it was replacing. We had an old Home 8 that actually Dave McCabe had given to me as a review unit from a couple years ago. And so that replaced that camera, and it mounts just about anywhere. And, we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, but if you want to head out to the Facebook group, there's some pictures out there. I just thought it was a funny story that guy caught his wife with the camera. Kevin Schoonover, last week we had talked about gadgets under $50 for Father's Day. Mike, you were telling me a story a minute ago, and Kevin put in the chat room that there's a APS backup, small little 125 VA, 75 watts, 3 outlets, 2 USB charging ports, small little box for tonight. Like right now, you have to be live here, and I'm going to put this in the chat room. Oh, there's another bingo square. We'll put this in the chat room for you guys. But Mike, $20. You tell us about your story. You woke up the other day, heard something weird. Tell us that story.
Well, yeah, and this just teams up perfectly with what he posted. But I woke up, it was this morning. I woke up and it was like 12:31 in the morning, and I was like, what is that noise? And then I recognized that that's the sound of my sprinkler system, because our water pipe in the basement makes kind of a weird sound when it's pushing all that water to our sprinkler system. So, well, why is this running at 1? So I went out to the garage, turned it off. I was too tired, came back in. But then I realized that the other night we'd had a power blip, and the clock had gotten reset on the sprinkler system. So it thought it was time to turn on, but it was in the middle of the night. So this is going to be a perfect thing. I grabbed it just before we went live.
Yeah, $20.
Yeah, and it's got the wall mounts even on the back, because my thing is right in the middle of a wall in my garage. So I'm just going to hang that thing, plug it in, and that'll save me from this happening again. It'll be perfect.
Yeah, it is a flash sale from Newegg. It was Kevin put it in there 2 or 3 days ago. So if you're on our Facebook group, you would have seen it. If you're listening live, the deal works tonight. If you want to do it, it'll by the time I get this out on Saturday, it'll probably be gone, or it won't be working anymore. But that's one of those reasons to stay in the Facebook group. Mike, I said, why don't you just pick up one of these and throw it in your sprinkler box? And
I said, Jim, this is why I podcast with you every week, because I need something to kill my budget every week. No, because you have great ideas like this, and we get it from the group, and it's great.
I'm going to admit, like, since we've been doing this new format, I've been buying a lot more things.
Yeah, me too. I bought the camera last week. I bought the APC this week. I signed up for Bright Sellers. That's been 3 months. I keep forgetting to cancel that.
I know. You got to cancel that bad boy. It gets expensive.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. If you did
people out there could love it. We're not. It's not a bad product. It's just, that's money every month. I'm like, I could use.
You could buy wine cheaper and probably better.
Oh, for sure.
Than Bright Sellers. But we talked about that. If you followed us on the Bright Sellers deal, or even the HelloFresh, I actually got 2 boxes. I thought I'd canceled this week. We do every other week on HelloFresh, and I thought I'd canceled this week, and a box appeared this week, and I guess I hadn't. And so, but you know what? Fresh food, not a bad thing.
No, never.
Not you don't go, oh, darn it, fresh food again. Oh, I hate it when they send me fresh food.
I really shouldn't have that reaction to wine either, to be honest. I don't think many people are like, alcohol. Why'd that get shipped to my house?
Darn it. Why did they send that again? So Sammy sent me a note. I'm like, yeah, it's not a big deal. We'll eat it. But I definitely, you got to kind of stay up on those things to make sure you want them. Kyle had also posted in the Facebook group. He says, I'm setting up a Backblaze backup now. He's also moving off CrashPlan. I want to have several months to get everything settled in before the CrashPlan shuts down in October. I have 2 computers to back up. Is anyone using the groups option with Backblaze? I want combined billing for 2 computers. Can't tell if it's better just to log in with my account on my wife's computer or set up her own account and use the groups. Mike, did you look at groups at all? And maybe
I
we'll
haven't
throw
looked
this
at
to the
groups
chat room if anybody's using Backblaze, groups versus non-groups.
No, because again, I run it on my NAS, so all my computers back up to the NAS, and then just the one machine, that NAS running Windows 10, has Backblaze on it.
Okay, Mike Howard says he has 5 computers running in Backblaze. So maybe that'd be a good one to I am using their B2, which is completely different, right? And so that might be a good one to jump in the Facebook group, give Kyle some advice if you're doing that, use groups. I would say go with the cheapest way possible. That's what I would say, whatever the cheap way to do that is. If it's groups and pay a little bit more, or rather than have two subscriptions, that'd probably be the way to do it, I would think. So Kyle, I don't know. I haven't used the groups function, but maybe somebody else has. Head out to the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/the average guy, and give Kyle a hand on that. We appreciate you doing that. Mike, you put a poll out in the Facebook group. Oh, I don't know. Is Facebook group one of those words on the bingo? Because I've said it like a
million times. People are trying to check it off more and more and more. And you don't check it off once, guys.
I don't think Facebook group is there. So it's a new one. Emily, add that to the list. But did you put out a poll? What were the results?
Yeah, I was really interested to see. So the poll last week that we put it out during the live show, and then we let it run so everyone listening to the show had a chance to comment on it. I want to know what you guys are using for routers, because routers these days, they're starting to say that the consumer routers are starting to get good enough, and I didn't know if I trusted that. So I asked you guys what you guys were all using. The results came back. We divided it out by consumer grade router, other, which I let people kind of comment on some other professional routers, or pfSense, because pfSense I think is one of those popular. So the way the numbers broke out was 19 votes for consumer grade router. So 19 people using just the consumer off the shelf, go to Walmart, go to Best Buy, grab a router. We had 6 with other, and I'll read through some of those because they put them in the comments. And then we had 7 with pfSense. So actually more even than I thought. Obviously, the consumer grade routers were almost double the other 2 categories, but a bigger amount of pfSense and other prosumer, I'll call them, or professional grade routers. So some of the other ones people are using, and some I haven't even heard of before, but some I had. So Sophos, you had said Bitdefender Box, a lot of so Ubiquiti, and then we clarified, because I asked Steven, he said Ubiquiti. I said, is that Edge or USG? Because you kind of choose between the two, and he said Edge router. Synology, Portal router. It's via Kickstarter. That was interesting. So Chris Farrell is using something called Portal router. I have not heard of it, so don't even know what that's about. I'm trying to look for some of the other ones that are kind of the bigger. FortiGate. Chad Davis has FortiGate. Hadn't heard of that one either. Looks like some of the other ones are.
Mike, I was surprised at the variety.
Me too. So, I mean, I'll just read MikroTik, Cisco, and where's some other ones? Asus. All sorts of brands. So, Eero, a lot of Eero. So, I like you, was very surprised. I thought maybe our community, being the tech-savvy people, would kind of gravitate towards one solution, but they haven't. They're all across the board on the router. And I noticed a lot of difference between dedicated router or router and Wi-Fi combos, right? Because most of the routers these days, if they're consumer grade, they've got the Wi-Fi built in, but a lot of other people still separating them out. I did have, Ernesto was obviously my favorite comment of them all, because he said pfSense with Ubiquiti access points, and he loves that combination. And I agree that I will swear to it that I don't think it can be beat. Maybe if you're setting it up for corporate structure, obviously it can be beat, but I think for the home, it's dynamite, rock solid. I don't think it can be beat.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice. You talked about that, and it was just fun to get your feedback on that and kind of hear. Again, it was a huge surprise to me, all the different options.
Totally.
It shouldn't be surprised, a bunch of tech guys, and we're all trying different things in all kinds of different configurations. So some good, just some good feedback. Terrible advice, because there's so many options there. If somebody was like, what should I go with? Well, I think it's still a complicated decision.
It is. And what I was surprised, not a single person had a Airport Extreme, which only surprises me, because they are one of the better, when you're talking to Wi-Fi, at least back a few years ago, they were still one of the better ranged Wi-Fi units. You got a lot of good range out of them, and they were decent on the routing. I actually used an Airport Extreme as my access point. I turned off the routing. That was my access point until about a month ago. So before a month ago, I was using the Airport Extreme, and I loved it. I thought the range was pretty good. So I was surprised we didn't see any Airport Extreme on there.
Yeah, it's pretty drop dead simple too. I think that Airport Extreme to get set up and those are pretty easy.
They're super easy. Yeah.
It's probably that's the way that
Mark does say they're discontinued now. That's probably why.
Oh,
they have. I think they still sell them. Oh, yes, they are discontinued. Okay. They've stopped developing the firmware. I don't even know. You might still be able to pick one up, but I'm not sure if you can. They're pretty good units in their day if you had the AC unit.
Yeah. I wonder why they stopped making them. Well, really, really cool that you responded to those, all of you that were out there. Speaking of responding, last week we talked about a PC build. Kathleen jumped in there for the PC build. I don't know if I've seen a thread with that many comments in a while. Everybody weighed in on that one.
They really like their PC builds. You can tell our audience loves that.
Although I was not for her building one, to be honest. Kathleen has no business building her own computer, to be honest. She really needs to have somebody build it for her or buy it, buy it at the store, go with the Mac, do something like that. I know Kathleen, and she's just not one to do that.
But the problem is upgrading the Mac is almost a harder task than building a PC. She's got to pop that glass off that iMac. You got to cut around the seal. So if she wants to upgrade it, I don't know if her model was the one, because RAM isn't what's going to help around that iMac. We all talked about the SSD, and she's got to pop that screen off. So either way, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. I think there's probably someone around town that would install an SSD for her, but I'm not sure if anyone's touching those iMacs anymore because they're so easy to crack that glass when you pop them out.
Yeah, right on. Mark Robson just jumped into Facebook, and he's 1 square away from a bingo. Let's see what the square is. Technically it says Mike talks about home automation. Didn't you? Well, no, I guess you haven't yet.
I haven't talked about that yet.
Okay.
No,
right.
so we'll see.
We'll leave that there. Again, everybody's card is different, which is super cool. So I said super cool, which is super cool. And so I wasn't a big fan of that. But what I was a fan of is everybody jumped in to give her some help. So appreciate you guys getting out there and get that done. Speaking of help, Randy Cantrell put it today out there. He said, what do the average guys and gals think about the ideal way to convert a non-smart TV into a smart TV? And I'm assuming this non-smart TV has at least an HDMI input, right? Roku Ultra has been suggested, but I'd love to know what the brainiacs around here think. We'll take suggestions. I'm going to ask you here in a sec, Mike. We'll take suggestions from the chat room. You're going to convert a TV from non-smart to smart. What are you going to use?
For me, I've been going with Chromecast lately, and that's kind of an odd choice, though. And I've in certain instances, I wish I wouldn't have, but I had all Fire TVs. I had a Fire TV for almost every single TV, and I got rid of them because they don't have YouTube. They have that workaround for YouTube, but it's just not as good, and that means you also can't do YouTube TV. So it literally wasn't an option for me. And Chromecast for $35. They work really well. They have a lot of access. You can use most apps with them. Obviously, the only app you can't use is Amazon Prime because they both are mad at each other. But I've been using those on every single device. Out on our patio, it's what we use. And mainly that's because, we use YouTube TV as our cable subscription, so it works well there. I've had a good luck with them, though. I really do like them. It does help if you have one device you can dedicate as your media device. Right, we have an old iPad that is what we sit on the couch, we take it, and then we Chromecast it up. And with that, it's not your phone, so you can still use your phone for everything. You can just kind of have one device to control it. So it helps if you have that. I have never personally used a Roku. I think they're great products. I think that's probably the next best option behind the Chromecast. And it might even be a better option if you're looking for something with a remote. If you just want something with a remote that doesn't have to use your phone, the Roku probably is your best option. I cannot recommend the Fire TV, though.
The Roku 4 or I think that's the 4K Ultra HD, all that other good stuff. $99. So, and it's it's fairly small. There's a lot of, I was going to say this, I like this NVIDIA Shield that I have. And those are a little more expensive, $150 to $179, depending on the one you get.
Oh yeah. If we were going for Ultimate, if price isn't an option, Xbox One S. It's got the IR blaster in it. It's an Xbox. It's the best we have. That's in our living room. That is the most used. Our Chromecasts are actually on other TVs that we don't use as often. Xbox One S, I think, is the best media consumption device.
What am I going to pay for that? Getting into that?
I think $299.
Okay,
but you're getting you're getting a gaming box. But
very top. That's very top.
Very top. Yeah.
Xbox, if you're going to go that way, and PlayStation could fill in that same, although different options.
I don't know if PlayStation has the IR blaster.
Okay.
So for a home media device, I need it to be able to control the volume of my TV all with one remote. So with an Xbox remote, and I do have, if anyone ever has an Xbox and they want a suggestion on a remote, I don't get the main media remote. There's another off-brand remote that I love for the Xbox. I use that, and it's the best. So it can change all the channels. It can control your cable box if you have one of those. It does everything.
Emily chimes in, Chromecast all the way. She says, especially with a Harmony remote and a Google Home. Tony mentions the NVIDIA Shield. I like that as well. Mark Robson says the Chromecast does require another piece of hardware, which it does. It doesn't do it on its own, but it requires another piece of hardware. But if you have a phone and you're in that ecosystem, that would probably work for you. Tony says, I've heard a lot of good things about Apple TV, except for the remote. So that could be, I'm seeing a couple Apple TVs that are out there.
Apple TVs are great, but they're also expensive. You're going to pay quite a bit. I should go and see what the current price on those Apple TVs are, but they are right. They are.
Do you have a subscription to your Xbox?
You have to. Yeah. You have to have Xbox Gold, and that's $60 a year.
Yeah. Which isn't terrible. $5 a month, right?
Yeah. $5 a month.
Get you in there. So that's not too bad. There's ways to get that a little bit cheaper sometimes too. Slick Deals is good to watch for Xbox Gold.
Yep.
From time to time, they'll run those at 30 or 40 or $50. So you can check that out. Brian Hour says he runs a 3050, a Dell 3050 micros. I have one of those little boxes. They make pretty good little media center type things. You could go that route. Roku is not a bad way to go. I'm going to say it. That's a pretty good system, pretty good supported. If you're thinking of going Roku, I can't think of any reason why you shouldn't.
Yeah, I can't
go
either.
Roku. Pretty good devices. That market, that is pretty mature. NVIDIA Shield, Roku, Chromecast, Amazon Fire Sticks. Everything does just about what everything else does at this point. I'm sure there's some minor.
Well, but the only reason I never suggest the Apple TV is because, as compared to the Chromecast, you don't have to be in the Google ecosystem. Like Chromecast is available on iPhone, iPad, Android, your computers, your Chrome browser,
and just about every app supports it.
About every app
on an iPhone, right?
Yes, except for Amazon Prime. That's the only device that's not going to support it.
Right.
Apple TV AirPlay is proprietary, so you have to have so if you want to cast something up to your Apple TV, you got to have an iOS device or a computer. So, and it's a little bit more difficult. If you have a Windows machine, you can't. That's the only part that I don't like about the Apple TVs.
Other Jim says Roku here with an original Chromecast 2. We have only one TV in the house. You could do both. If you have two HDMI ports, you could do it that way. It's not a bad way to do it either, is to have a couple on there and use the one that you like the most.
Yes, we do have that. Hannah still, even though she doesn't watch YouTube, so one of the Fire TVs is still plugged in to the TV because sometimes she likes to interact with things that way.
Mark Robson's mentioning a MI box, cheap. Supports everything with a remote and supports Chromecasting. So that would be kind of we don't see that my box option very much. I'm going to look that up on Amazon here real quick. My box. See some cloud storage. Well, you got to spell it right, Jim, to get the right thing. There used to be, I think, a cloud storage called MI. Let's see. What am I seeing here? Boy, when you put that in, man, there are a ton of Android TV, just knockoffs out there, things you can buy. Mark, I don't see that. Throw a link in the chat room and we'll take a peek at it. Well, Randy, I hope that gets you enough. That's not definitive. This is one of those things where kind of depends on the system you want to be in. Can't go wrong with any of those devices, all the way from an Xbox down to Chromecast. That's probably the gamut. $35 up to $300, Mike,
yeah,
for the Xbox. At NVIDIA Shield's in the middle at about $150, $179. Good Slick Deals on that NVIDIA Shield. I see that all the time. I signed up for an alert at Slick Deals, and I get those NVIDIA Shields. $148 sometimes. Good way to get a good little box, and I have liked our NVIDIA Shields so far. Mike, I've been in the news segment. I've been watching I've been talking a little bit about what I'm watching on YouTube. I have been watching a ton of YouTube lately. This isn't necessarily gadget related or tech related, but it is kind of news related. Have you been watching what's going on in Hawaii with Kilauea and this volcano and what this thing, like, if you're not, we are seeing in the United States, this happens other places. Actually, I don't know if there's, besides Iceland, I don't know if we're seeing another spot in the world that's seeing as much lava flow right now as we're seeing in Hawaii. And the Civil Defense Organization in Hawaii is doing the greatest job I have ever seen of them updating every day. They've got a post, and they're keeping people like, hey, these areas are off limits. You're going to watch this. They got a helicopter that flies around. They actually had to put out a drone advisory, though, like, hey, stop flying your drones because we're running helicopters over this thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because a lot of news agencies were trying to go out and run drones over these lava flows. And I mean, it has been a disaster. Like, I mean, I think they've lost 900 homes and they lost 600 of them in one night. And this isn't like a flood where you cut out the drywall and replace it and you're good to go. Like, it's gone. It's new pavement. Like, right. You have a new mountain the next day, new beaches, I mean, it's crazy. So I've been totally enthralled. Every day I come home, pop on YouTube, like, what's the latest from
Hawaii,
from Hawaii, And so that's been something that's been absolutely captivating me. It's the greatest of YouTube. It's why YouTube should exist, right? It's why we should have, because you can just go there, just go there. I subscribe to it. I grab it. I get the updates every day. It's so cool just to have this in, like, the updates come out within 10 minutes. I can view them.
That's an interesting way to use YouTube, because I've never used YouTube that way. I've never really followed a news, event via YouTube. But you're right. It's a perfect way to do it.
No, it is. It is. And I am finding myself watching more and more indie content that's really, really well done.
Yeah. I totally agree there. And I have two suggestions that I would throw out on things I'm watching on YouTube.
Yeah, go. What are you watching?
So if you guys remember Mythbusters, the show on Discovery Channel a long time ago, I was a huge fan of that show. Jamie Hyneman, Adam Savage. Well, Adam Savage, you guys probably have already found this channel, but if you haven't, Adam Savage does a channel called Tested. And if you go to this Tested channel, he does so much cool stuff. So I think he's a prop builder. Like, he builds props in LA, but he does all sorts of, he still does some of the Mythbuster stuff, but he builds really cool replica stuff. And he always talks about the really cool tools he's using. So he has the really advanced machinery in his office. He's always doing all sorts of, hey, we're doing this and we're using this cool machine. This is what it does. Been really into Adam Savage on Tested lately. So that's more of your sciencey, geeky one. If you want like a tech geek channel. The other one, if you just want pure entertainment, and Hannah's not a YouTube person at all. Really doesn't care for it. Not really into indie stuff, but I have found a channel that she loves, and we both love to watch, The Daily Show, Good Mythical Morning. And if you haven't checked it out, just go search it, Good Mythical Morning. It's these two guys in LA. They have 13 million subscribers. They are a huge channel, and they're a daily show, and they just do the funniest stuff. They will do a fast food chicken challenge where they have to do a blind test and see if they can identify just by tasting the chicken, what fast food place that's from. They do all sorts of just fun stuff. It's pure entertainment, pure comedy, a lot of fun. And so I'm addicted to watching them too. So those two guys, Tested by Adam Savage and Good Mythical Morning, are my two favorite. I've been watching those daily for the past few weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've just fallen into a pattern of subscriptions. And that subscription engine works really well.
It's gotten a lot better, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it used to not work very well.
Yeah, it was awful. It was just awful. It was like made by children and who didn't know how to code. And now it is so dynamite. It's so good. John Oliver is another one of those where I don't have HBO, but I want to watch John Oliver, and I can just subscribe to his channel, and boom, they show up just like that. So it's pretty great and the diversity of programs and the quality of them. I follow this guy in the UK who's on trains all the time. He's on the Underground in London, and he's just talking about the different train stations and where they go and what they do. And like, you would think that'd be really boring. It's super awesome.
That's the cool stuff. You can find everything.
No, it is. It's amazing. So I just have a ton. What are you watching on YouTube? That might be, send us, tweet us, whatever, drop it in the Facebook group. We'd love to hear what you're watching on YouTube. And good stuff. When we talk about crypto and we talk about burst, 2 boxes in one sentence right there. When we do that, there's this Carter Thomas at Coin Mastery who I've been following, just a very reasonable, maybe the most reasonable crypto YouTuber I have met. And so if you want to watch one YouTube video on crypto, I would recommend this Carter Thomas channel. Is called Coin Mastery. Just dynamite. So something to watch and something to update. Mike, I said we'd talk about it. Those cameras came in, and again, those are the D-Link DSC 936L. Yep. And it came in, again, it came early, which was crazy. I wasn't expecting to get it till the end of the week, and it came early in the week. Setup was super easy. It mounts just about anywhere. It's got a little, has a little round, it looks like a cylinder, and that this kind of bends out like this on the box. It's showing it in the up position so that it could sit on a table and then sit up. You can also collapse it in, like mount it to a wall if you wanted to. Really, really versatile. Mounts anywhere, super light. Power cord a little short. If
I would agree.
You're going to put it up in a corner somewhere, you're going to have to run an extension cord or something. Run an outlet up there, whatever. The power cord is not the longest thing in the world. One of the things, I had a couple leftover power cords from my Home 8 installation. These were extremely long ones. Now the unit's black and these are white, and I prefer the black to the white in this case just because of where it's going in the house. But you probably have an extra cord. By the way, my family made fun of me for holding on to cords the other day. They all made fun of me. Like there was a cartoon where this guy was obviously hoarding cords, and they were like, "That's Dad."
Yep. So every tech guy's got that bin, or maybe 2 bins or 3. Yeah. Jim's got 3 bins of cords.
I have some old parallel, drives, hard drives out in the garage that, they'll never. I keep thinking I should just toss these, and I'm thinking, no, they're going to be great someday. I don't know, who knows. So Wi-Fi connect with the phone. It's a similar setup to like, you turn it on, it creates a Wi-Fi spot. You connect to that with your phone. You download the app. You set it up through that. You connect it to your own Wi-Fi, and you're done. That couldn't have been any easier. I mean, that D-Link got this part right. Super, super easy to set up. And you really, with this device, really have to have an SD card if you're going to do anything with recording the content. No memory on board for the most part. It's just, you're going to have to put an SD card in. It'll show live video, but it will not record until you have an SD
or run it through a Blue Iris or Sighthound. I connected it up to my security system and it works great if you have one of those running.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but right out of the box, most tech guys probably have a 16 gig or 32 gig SD card laying around. You might just want to put it in there. I have had, Mike, a lot of difficulty with it, getting the videos actually to play on my phone. And I don't know if it's the device. I don't know if it's the memory I put in there. I got some troubleshooting to do. But
that's always the biggest complaint, like on all these reviews. So I buy a bunch of cheap cameras on Amazon. I'm always trying new cheap cameras, and it's always the review is of the app, right? Like the app, I can't get things to load, but I never use the app because, like I said, I run it through Sighthound, and then I use it, and then it works great because I know Sighthound works, and all it needs is the stream, and you can always Google and find what the stream address is for those cameras, and sure enough, they had one for this camera. You can just pull it right in. So it might be worth, Jim, firing up a free instance of Blue Iris on one of your servers down there. You have more than enough always on computers, and just fire it up and see how that works for you. I think you really like it. And you can store the footage locally, not have to worry about things. And then my other suggestion on that camera, if you want more advanced settings for that camera, just type in the IP address of the camera on your web browser. And if you log into that version, you'll have a lot more settings. So if you go to the web browser and log in, it's a little more feature rich than the app, and the password that you will need for that camera a lot of times is included in the app. So go to the D-Link. There's a spot for password, or
it's also on the card.
There you go.
Also on the card. Yeah. So you can get logged in and get it done. I need to do Sighthound Blue Iris. I have not messed with that as of yet, and so I got a little bit of work to do. I got it set up. I got it running. Actually had some burst problems, and that took my attention away from it, and so I haven't come back to it. But
which one did you say you're running?
The 936L.
Sorry, which piece of software were you going to run?
Oh, probably both, because I haven't run either one of them yet. So I'll probably try them out and get them running. So there's an open source piece too that's not Sighthound and not Blue Iris. It is. Do you know what I'm talking about? Shoot, I've forgotten the name. Hold on. That I tried. That was iSpy. Yeah. I tried iSpy and it was a little complicated.
Yeah. I could go for one of the other ones. Blue Iris is going to be a lot cheaper. Sighthound, I think, is like Well, maybe Sighthound's only like $60 for 2 cameras.
Okay.
And I don't know what the price is on Blue Iris. But if you want more, so I have the unlimited version on, because on Sighthound it's 2 options. You either pay for 2 cameras or unlimited. There's no in between. And the unlimited is, I think, $250 one time. So I paid that a few years ago, and it's been worth it. I enjoy it. And like I said, the local storage is the best part for me, and it just works every time. And you don't have to use those third-party apps. You don't have to worry about it going out and reaching out to China or anything like that, phoning home to those apps. That's what I always worry about with those apps, is that, hey, that's going out to the cloud somewhere.
Totally. If you're looking for a camera and you want to get in for cheap, I think this is going to show up on sale again in other places. So I might put a Slick Deal alerts on it or something. Or in general, right now they're clearancing out a lot of those older cameras as new ones come online. You know, our friends over at Ring and some of the other companies, the home automation companies, have started getting into this space. And I think they're trying to clear some of the old inventory, get that stuff out, get rid of it. So now may be a good time. We pay $25, I think is what I paid on the program for, 28, something like that. And I had an $8 credit on Amazon, so I made it $20 for me. Emily got the same deal, a little bit more expensive for you, and it's up to $45 now. I don't know if I'd pay $45 for it.
No, I would not. I would agree there. There's a lot. Actually, there's way better cameras for $45 that I've purchased.
Right. Now there's some cheap Chinese cameras that probably are better than that and are probably a little bit cheaper. Mike, this week we've been looking at a couple weeks ago, I showed you I bought this new travel plug, right? We talked about this one that's here, a little travel plug.
Yeah, we were talking about that going up in your kitchen, right?
Yeah, it was too big, right? So then the other day my wife was out of town. I'm like, I'm going to fix this issue. The deal is I've got I've got a regular plug against the wall. I need to plug in the coffee maker and the frother, the milk frother, we have a music player that sits in there. So I have 2 spots. I have 3 things. And I have that Nespresso plug is super thick. So when you plug it into the wall, it sticks out, it takes counter space. And I wanted it on the side. So I kept trying to find, that's why I went with this thing, because it's got a side, this plug has a side view. I was going to plug it into that one on the top, whatever. So this weekend I was thinking, okay, I'm going to look again and see what I can feel. Kevin Schoonover had put that APC one in. It was too wide. So I went, okay, maybe I'll grab one of these. Right now, this is about the width of the outlet itself, and I thought, well, maybe there's a plug next to it, but maybe it'll be just small enough that I can leave these pointing forward, and then these rotate right to the side, so that you can now, if I want it on the front, there it's on the front. If I want it on the side, there it's on the. I can do it on the fly.
Yeah,
so I put it on the wall. Plug the things into it. So I moved these over to the side, plug the thing. It was working great, except it covered that plug, because I have those wide, flat plugs, and it covered the plug. If I had gone with the traditional switch, it would have been fine. Actually, it would have been perfectly fine. It didn't. The other thing it didn't do real well, and it has a screw hole here where you can run a screw through it and plug it into the plate, so it really
anchors in
that thing to it anchors it to the wall. I didn't want to do that, because if I put it into the wall, it would have really blocked the light. So fail. Now, the good news is I have a spot right down here with a computer that it's covering a plug, and this will work perfect for that. 14, by the way, it's an Echo Gear on-wall surge protect. I said the word Echo. She's going to want to know now what's going on. But with 6 pivoting AC outlets, and it has a surge protector in it as well. So $15 on Amazon. I picked that up. I am sure you have some of these kinds. Do you have these kind of outlet gadgets? And I'll tell you how Sarah fixed it here as soon as you tell me.
I don't, actually. I'm always running out. I need to go to the store and grab some. I've got the ugly orange ones that are 3-prong. I have a bunch of just power strips, all sorts of kind of power strips, but I have not got into any of those. I don't really have a space where I need one of those. Everywhere I have one, I can lay a power strip down, which I like doing.
Okay. Well, so to end the story,
all about mounting power strips. I'll use Velcro and mount like up above and plug them in. I'll do whatever.
Good way to do it. Yeah. Good way. In most cases, that's the way I do it too. This one plug that's down here, it would be nice though. The desk goes right up against it, and I really can't get any plugs into it. So it's not ideal. So it'll allow me to pull that off, screw it in to get it mounted. Then I can just turn those, and I'll have access to them from the sides.
Perfect.
So that'll be great. So Sarah, there's a box to fill in. So Sarah goes to Walmart today and picks up a really like a $3. It plugs in one, it takes one, and then it's got two on the side. And it's low speed and as skinny as the spot is on the wall, and the things plug into it just perfectly. And she just totally showed me up. Like,
and for $3, right?
For $3. Yeah, it could have been four. It was probably $4.47 because it was.
Did she actually go to like a store to get that?
Yeah, like the store, like it where you can go look and find things and look at them before you.
I should check one of those out. I've never been to one.
Oh man, dude, I got so owned on that one. I came home and I looked at the wall and I was like, oh, yikes. That was a great solution.
That works way better than what I had.
Yeah. So Sarah for the win is what Tony says. She just pwned me on that one. And so the plug saga is over. I won't have to buy any more plugs. Mike, you found a good deal on a Bluetooth scale, though, recently. What'd you get?
Yeah, I did. A Renpho, RENPHO scale on Amazon. I was just searching for a regular scale, and this came up. It was Bluetooth, connects to your phone. The app tracks, keeps a history. I also love, Jim, I've been super addicted to, as a side note, I've been super addicted to Apple Health. The Apple Health Kit on the phone is fantastic. And the fact that all your apps, no matter what app you use, can read and write data to your Apple Health, and you have full control on what it can read and write, it's been fantastic. So I grabbed that app. The scale itself was only $29. So I was really surprised that the price of those has gone down, and I was super surprised. So I recently just started started a new gym. They have a program. It's an 8-week. We're doing a competition, and it's like this hardcore thing. So you have to get on this big machine, and it reads out all sorts of statistics on your body, right? Like your body fat percentage, your BMI. It can tell you what each limb weighs. So it tells you like your thighs, your arms, exactly the weight. So it's this really advanced machine. So I went and did that. This scale has these two metal pads on it, right? So you do it barefoot, you stand on it, heel on one, toes towards the end, and it gives you a basic readout for BMI, body fat percentage, water, and the numbers were not that far off from the really advanced printout I got from this machine at the new gym. So I was really surprised. I mean, it wasn't 100% accurate, but close enough that if you just wanted a rough estimate of what your BMI was or your percentage of body fat, pretty cool scale. And it does all that. And again, like I said, it stores it in the app. And then if you want to, it can pump that into your Apple Health, and you can have your graphs in Apple Health. So I have been using, because with my Apple Watch, I use the workouts. That puts it into Apple Health. I use MyFitnessPal to track every one of my meals, anything I eat throughout the day now. I'm putting in MyFitnessPal. That's kicking it over to Apple Health. So my Apple Health Kit is really, and then I have a sleeping app that tracks my sleep, so I know how much sleep I'm getting. So that app actually knows a lot about me, which is kind of cool. So I have this one app now that has all of my health data being pulled from all the different apps I use. But that Renpho scale, again, for $29, not a bad scale. Really nice. Got this glass top, feels solid, doesn't feel like a cheap scale. I was really impressed for the $29.
Oh, that I may buy that tonight. There's a $10 or a 10% off. So another $3 off right now if you go out there and put in their coupon code. I'm trying to figure out how to get that done.
To $19, huh?
No. 10%. 10%. Sorry, 10% off. So
sorry. I was thinking $10.
Another $3 gets you there. I need to.
I think it's a great scale.
They have
the part that I was shocked at was those statistics, those BMI and body fat being actually relatively accurate.
No, that's for $30. That's great. Those things were really expensive when they first came out, and the prices on them have really come down. I'm trying to clip the coupon, and it says I've clipped it, but for whatever reason, it won't update at checkout. So there it goes. $26.99.
That's not a bad price for that scale.
Is not a bad. Except I'm super fat right now. So, and I don't want to know it.
Right. Well, that was me, so I was like, you know what? But if I'm going to do this, I want to know, I want to be able to keep track of everything. You and me, when we jump into something, we go full bore, and I wanted to know all my stats.
No, right on
a daily basis.
I know. I need to. The interns are in town. Oh, I mentioned Gallup. Check a box. So the interns are alive and well on the campus, and for some reason, when they are there, I just have the hardest time getting to the gym in the afternoon. And so, man, since my birthday, I have just been crushing it. Like
really getting to the gym.
no, getting bellying up to the bar and getting to the food.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I thought you meant crushing at the
No,
gym.
no. I wish. I had high expectations of winning this year's pump and run in my age division. We have a little event where you weigh in and then you take your weight divided by 80% or 90%, whatever it is. And then that's what goes on to the bench press, the chest press. And then you got to do that a certain number of times. And for every number of time you do, you get a minute off your run. And then you have a 5K run. And so then you can get negative points on this thing. And traditionally I do pretty well. But Mike, it was just one of those things, man. Birthday was good. Cigars were good. Food was good. Beer has been good.
And it stayed that way, right?
Yeah, it's been really good. I am not going to lie. Although I say that all the time too. That's a new one. That'll be in the box at some point.
See, and I've had the opposite. My workout. So the way the gym is structured, right? Like these are like group workouts. So you pair up and there's stations and the workout changes. So it's high intensity interval training Monday, Wednesday, Friday, weights Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and you go through it. Your group is there, right? And it's timed. So the beeper's going. So it beeps, move to the next station, go, 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 beep, go. And I needed that. If I go to the gym by myself, just to a normal gym, I half-ass it or I don't go. So this group thing. But the only time I can go with the kids and with Hannah is 5 a.m. So that's when it starts. So I'm up at 4:30, driving over to the gym and doing it at 5, and I'm addicted. Like I wake up. I've never woken up faster. My alarm goes off. I'm like, yeah, all right, let's get up. Let's do it. It's weird. The only thing I've done that for is hunting. Like if I wake up early to go deer hunting, I'm up and at 'em. But I've never had this addiction to working out before. I've always actually been the opposite. I've dreaded it. It's made me tired. So I think it's the combination of a new diet, no beer, no wine, cutting out all the bad food, and then with the workout, and it's just the energy levels up. It's only been a week, and it's been insane. I enjoy it.
Good for you. This has been me. If you're looking on the video, and I just been eating at the grill.
There you go.
This is Kyle's. We'll go full circle. This is Kyle's grill, and so I've just been eating a ton, man. I've really enjoyed every second of it. I got to get back to it. I keep saying it's supposed to be this Monday. Like, okay, I'm gonna get back to it. And then, but maybe a scale at home would be something I could check every day. This one, because the health apps, I've had trouble getting into the health apps.
Okay.
I should be perfect at them. Like they should motivate me and they should do all those things. And they haven't been, which is a little frustrating. Right. So I don't know. It's $26.99. I may pick that up here at the end of the show.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it. And I also got really into if you use the activity app, if you have an iPhone or even if you have an Apple Watch, even better, because it works better. That activity tracker trying to fill the rings, I never paid attention to it until I started working out. And then I figured out you can add your friends and it gives you alerts when they're starting to hit their goals. A lot of fun. Me and my buddies are having some fun egging each other on.
It's a good way to do it. It is a really good way to do it. I bought a new Fitbit to do that, and I used it for a while, and then I stopped. And I just kind of need to get back on the bandwagon and get it done. So, Tony, I'm looking in Twitter, and I appreciate he's got the most interesting man in the world applauding us on Twitter. So thanks for doing that. Tony's great. I say this every week, but Tony is great at Twitter. You should join us as well if you can on Twitter. Follow me at Jay Collison, Uyghur Tech at Uyghur Tech for Mike, and lots of stuff going on out there. Emily posted her picture of the bingo card while she's watching us. So Emily, thanks for jumping out there. God, that's just so great. Great participation tonight. We appreciate you guys. Those that join us on Patreon as well, that join us in the Facebook group and on Twitter. And if you can't do any of those things, it's perfectly fine. Join us live out here Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern. Good to have you out here doing what we do. We'll remind you, we'll stay around for a little post-show content when we are done. Some big changes going on with Burst. And so if you've joined us on this Burst adventure, stay around in the post-show. We've got some things that we want to update you on. Just a couple reminders, though, before you go. Don't forget, go out and listen to the latest version of Cyber Frontiers. Hopefully it's out by now. It's 44. That's the one you're looking for. Of course, Christian is there, and that's that Maple Grove Partners. Oop, there's another box there in the bingo. Maple Grove Partners get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting for people that you know and you trust. Plans start as little as $10. MapleGrovePartners.com. Don't forget you can download the app, and you can get that available to listen on the road, in the air, on a train, in a plane, some of those kinds of things. If you want to do it that way, it's a good. I should write my own Dr. Seuss book about podcasting. Oh, I bet that hasn't been done yet. How to listen to a podcast by Dr. Seuss.
I bet it hasn't.
I'm doing it.
Do it.
I'm going to do it. But that being said, don't forget that app is free. You can go out and download it. We appreciate LastPass for their sponsorship. And then we had a shirt show up last week on Twitter, and I think that was Gavin who mentioned that he was able to get that up in Canada. And so if you haven't got a shirt yet, they're still out there and they're still available for you. Home Gadget Geeks t-shirts are available for you. Just search for those on Amazon, and if it's available in your market, you can buy those and send them down. We appreciate that. Take a picture of it. Show us with it on somewhere exotic. I don't know. Go on vacation somewhere and wear it. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And we'd love to see it in all kinds of different places. They don't shrink as bad as you think they will.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Go out and get that t-shirt. We appreciate it. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at the AverageGuy.tv live. Great show tonight. Chat room, you guys were on fire tonight. I can't tell you how great it was to have you guys all chiming in there. Mike, I like this new format. We're going to stick with it for a while. It seems like it's firing everybody up, and we appreciate you guys coming out.
Gets the people going.
Oh,
right. What's that? It's from a movie. Yeah, that was weird.
Post show is jamming. Anybody get a blackout? Isn't that what it's like when you get all the bingo?
Yeah. Did we mention everything? Did we
get? Hold on. Let's look real quick before we go. Let's look and see. Did we get
what? I will say me talking about cameras. That's automation.
I think you said the cloud at some point, right? When we were talking about cameras and stuff, getting it to the cloud, right?
I consider home cameras to be home automation. It's doing a lot of that automated. It's alerting my phone. I can tie in if this, then that to my camera system. So
I mentioned the interns at Gallup. Well, you know what I didn't mention? So, and this doesn't count. I didn't mention the home server show.
Oh, you didn't. I didn't talk about Hannah. I didn't.
Yeah, I know you. I think you did.
Did I?
I think you said Hannah once. Yeah.
Okay.
No, because I remember.
Oh, I did. I said Hannah loves it. The YouTube.
Yep. We said cool for sure. I'm not sure I said wife approval. I don't think you said that at all.
I don't think I did either.
So definitely world-class show notes. I'm sure I said when we think about, I don't know. I can't remember. I wasn't keeping track. We didn't talk about a meetup, so that one should be blank as well. I asked you to stick around for the post show. You
Maybe
mentioned Hannah, Burst for sure, chat room for sure, weather for sure. I didn't mention Ask the Podcast Coach, so there's probably
someone's waiting for next week. That's good. We can't get them all.
Here, we'll get this one. I'm sure if you missed it, I'm sure I'll
another sip of beer,
a little beer drinking there. Mike did mention drones.
Yes.
We did throw a link in the chat room. We threw a bunch of them out there. Mitchell Maple Grove Partners back plays at the end. I mentioned Sarah in 2018. So we got most of them. Emily, thank you for doing that for us tonight.
That was a lot of fun, Emily.
It was super great. We won't do it every week, but maybe from time to time we'll throw that bingo card together, and just keeps us honest. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at the AverageGuy.tv/live. Stay is what you should do. Stay around for the post show. We're going to be talking some crypto. And if you want to get the post show, head out to the AverageGuy.tv/Patreon. We post them there. They're free. Everybody can get to them now. But it's just a great place to go and grab video and audio, both available for you out there. With that, we'll say goodnight, everybody. All right. If you're catching us on Patreon, welcome to the post show. We just finished up with Mike. Maybe one of the funnest shows yet. I just had a good time, man.
We had so much to talk about, and everyone in the chat room was on fire. You mentioned that at the end. That was the best part. Is the chat room was
Home Gadget Geeks bingo was sweet.
It's fun.
It was sweet. That was Emily. That was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. So
I was thinking it through my head as I was like having conversation. I'm like, oh, I wonder if that was a bingo item.
Ken wanted to know in the chat room, can I bring back the wrestler intro song? Remember when you did John Cena?
Oh yeah. That one.
That was great. That had like a double life for me because you brought it to the podcast, right? And you were playing it. I had no idea what you were talking about. I am like, who is this John Cena? And you kept doing this stuff. And I was like, I have no idea. And then my kids brought it to the house one night as a meme. And I'm like, oh, that's what John Cena is.
Do you have the audio file on your computer? You could probably play it.
We could probably play it on YouTube. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see if.
Well, no, because I made one, didn't I? Didn't we make like a custom one?
Echo, play the theme song for John Cena.
I don't know that one.
Shoot. What do you think? What do you think?
I think I have it.
Just play John Cena. Echo, play John Cena.
And I'll play it.
Okay, hold on.
Shuffling songs by John Cena.
What? That's weird. It's like, is there a rapper called John Cena? Echo, stop. Huh. Well, there you go. Maybe there's a rapper named John Cena. You got it?
I'll find
we'll get, by the way, if you're listening for crypto, hang tight. We'll get started here in just a second.
Yeah.
But Emily said she didn't get When We Think About. I don't think I said When We Think About. I think that's one I missed. I do say that a lot. I also say standpoint a lot. So that, Emily, you should probably add that one. You should probably add that one to your list for future. Emily, can you, did we do this for Ask the Podcast Coach? Because this would be a lot of fun for Ask the Podcast Coach. Did we do that? I can't remember last Saturday. Mark, I saw the link to the My Box that you put in the chat, or that you put in the Facebook group. So I saw that. Thank you. It's called The Time Is Now. Okay, Echo, play The Time Is Now.
The Time Is Now, John Cena by WWE. John Cena and the Trademark.
Do you think we'll get, well, is this going to be on YouTube? I think it will be. So, but it'll be post show. Maybe I'll have to cut this part out. There it is.
There it is. That's it.
There it is. All right. There you go, Ken. Thanks for bringing that. I haven't heard that.
Neither have I. I totally forgot.
My little son, funny that I know what that is. Like he just thinks it's hilarious. And then, of course, he'll bring it up and we say it all night. We say it all night at dinner, but whenever he brings it up. So,
yep.
Oh, good. Well, Emily, if you want to bring that to Ask the Podcast Coach, that'd have been a good thing to say in the regular show. So we would have gotten a space in there. Mike, let's talk crypto. So
yeah.
Burst is having a big event right now. So if you've followed us over to Burst and you've been under a rock and not paying attention, you're going to need to replot or convert the plots that you've done so far pretty quick here. In a couple days, they're going to fork from POC 1 to POC 2. New upgrade. There's been a lot of cheaters on Burst, and it's going to kind of fix that cheating problem and some other things that have been going on with that, kind of upgrade some things, make a few things a little faster. But there's been a lot of confusion around how to do that. And I'll be honest with you, I was confused when I first went out there to start converting my plots, because you're like, oh my God, do I have to replot them again? Or do I have to, can I do them in place? Am I going to need another drive, whatever? So, basically, and big thanks to Ken, right? Ken out there in the chat room. Ken's been a lifesaver to me on this. He has really spent a lot of time. I feel like I'm the dumb one. I'm like, all right, Ken, how do I do this now? What's the right thing to do? Whatever. Ken's made a few recommendations. First of all, if you're what I have been finding is that in the Q bundle wallet that we've all been using for it, there's some default tools. There's Johnny's POC 1 to POC 2. I love the name of this thing. Johnny's POC 1 to POC 2 plot converter that will do in place plots, allegedly. 2 out of 3 for me failed in doing it. It's pretty painful when you're converting an 8 terabyte plot, because with Johnny's plotter converter, if it fails, your plot's done. It's not going to work again. You're going to need to replot, right? And so in-place plotting has just been my favorite thing to do. And it hasn't really worked very well for me, to be honest. So we've been doing, Johnny's also does what's called a output folder method or conversion, where it takes it from one drive and moves it to another. I just got through my first 8 terabyte drive yesterday. No, I've gotten through 2 now. And it's worked flawlessly. I've had no errors. It's working great. But you need to have an empty drive. one of the things I hadn't done, Mike, is Ken really recommends we format NTFS 64K on the sectors. I had not done that for all of my drives. And so I'm using this as an opportunity. I wiped out a plot. I had two that had errored, and I was going to have to replot them anyway. So I just reformatted them, NTFS 64, and began the conversion process of moving them over. So it gave me a chance to get those done. On the other PC, on the PCs where I've got these 1060s, by the way, mining right now, super painful. Like the
last week wasn't it doing decent?
Yeah, it was.
It's not, huh?
No, it's horrible. It's the worst.
I noticed that with the prices tanked.
Yeah,
right?
No, worst prices I've ever seen right now. Like it's just awful on GPU. So I've been turning my GPU into a plotter, which is great. There's a turbo. It's called Turbo Plotter 9000. Again, Ken's been trying to get me to use this thing forever, and I just kept saying no, not interested. No. So finally, all the cards came together. Prices went down. I'm like, well, I got these GPUs. I'll give it a try. And I was taking me weeks or a week, 9 days, using the X plotter on this box, using Turbo Plotter, 24 hours. Man, does that all of a sudden change your economy when you're thinking about plotting drives and you're like, I can do 8 terabytes in 24 hours. All of a sudden, like you could do some things.
Oh,
with
totally.
That. Like, when you're thinking about 7 or 8 days, that's just you're checking it all the time. If it fails, you're screwed. That's not totally true. You can pull it back in.
Is that plotter any faster if you don't have a GPU? If you're just doing CPU any faster?
I didn't do it. That CPU is a Core i3 on that box that I was doing it. And I don't, if you had a really fast Core i7, I don't think so, because I'm using SMR drives.
Right. So
they're just slow anyways. So I don't think, right now, like when it runs, it spikes to do the nonces. Then it writes them to the SSD, stores them up till they get to a certain size, closes the file, starts a new one. Then it starts moving that other one onto the SMR drive, which is more efficient, right? And so it's always waiting on it's never waiting on the nonce. It's never waiting on the SSD. It's always waiting on the SMR drive. So if you had a Core i7 and it was pretty fast, Mike, to be honest with you, I think it worked just fine.
Okay.
If you wanted to do it that way. I don't know. I would have to try.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if that was going to be any faster than using just the standard built-in plotter, X plotter.
I would think and if you got an SSD, yes, for sure.
I don't in that machine.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you going to SMR drives or are you just going to regular drives?
SMR drives.
Yeah, and then definitely the moving it to a faster drive first. You could try it with a spinner if you had space on a spinner.
It's on actually that Dell R710 is what I plot on. So it's on an 8. It's got 8 hard drives in there on a RAID card.
Give it a try. And see what it does.
Pretty good graphical interface or not? It's one of those.
CLI. Super easy. No, really good.
Okay, so Turbo Plotter, right, is what I need?
Yeah.
Turbo Plotter?
Ken says the SSD cache drive is what makes it faster. So yeah, I don't know. Try with what you got, right? You can't crap an SSD drive. So if that's all you got, give Turbo Plotter 9000 a try. It sounds, by the way, Turbo Plotter 9000 sounds like it was invented during RoboCop.
It really does.
I'm just gonna say it. So I would try it with what you got. I definitely like the Turbo Plotter. What I love about Turbo Plotter, it has a little pause button, and you can pause it. Like I was plotting tonight, and I'm like, I don't know if I want it necessarily plotting while I'm using it for the podcast.
That's nice.
You just hit pause, and away you go. So yeah. So the new blocks, I'm assuming, Ken, I think this is right, at 502,000, we switch over to POC2, right? I think that's what's happening. And so that's when, I'm hoping to have most of my drives ready to go. I don't think I'll have all of them, but I'm hoping to have most of them ready to go by the time we get there. So get your fastest equipment, Mike. That would be my recommendation. If you want to plot faster, you got to have fast equipment.
Yeah.
So throw as much fast stuff as you can at it, test it out. But man, taking a plot from 7 days to 24 hours. Wow.
That's a game changer. It's a total game changer.
Yeah. I set it in the
When you're
evening.
doing as many of these as you're doing.
Yeah. Set it in the evening. I come back the next day. It's almost done. I can move some things around and boom, it's done for me. So I've got two different, so I'm converting and plotting basically in a 24-hour sequence. So I'm doing 2 drives a day, and it's working out. It's really, really well. It probably took me a week to figure it all out. Probably put me a week behind on the errors and such. But Ken, thanks for your help on a lot of that. He's been a sport in the evenings. I've been pinging him to get that done. Mike, how far? What did you decide to get back into it? I know you shut it off at one point.
I did. I'm going to replot. So I'm going to replot the 3 8 terabyte drives. I only got 3 of them. I ended up replotting my 2 4 terabyte drives because again, I had the same thing. My converters failed on that machine, and then I think that's what I'm going to end up doing is just pulling that. So I think in the end, I'm actually only going to have 32 instead of 39. I'm at 32 terabytes, and we'll go from there.
Good enough. Ken says using a non-SMR drive as a cache drive will still be faster than plotting directly because the random writes are faster than it would be on an SMR drive, right? And that's the problem is those writes. So even if you're running it to another spinning drive and then moving it over, you're not getting those. It's a different action when you're doing a shot. Mark Robson bought another 9 terabytes this week. He bought 3 terabytes refurbs. And Loptis says, is anyone using SMR? Yeah, well, the Seagate drives that I shouldn't say we have all, but the Seagate external 8 terabyte drives that we bought are SMR drives. So, and Ken said, yes, 502 is the switch. Ken, do you know, well, I need to stop the miner and restart it, or do we just let the miner keep running? Because I think it's going to hit. We're at 501, 516. So we're 500 away, 484 away right now. 480, let's just say. That'd be 2 days, I think. So today's Thursday? So Friday, Saturday should be done. The Seagate drives they are SMR. Well, allegedly they're SMR drives. I've not cracked them to confirm they're SMR.
Right.
But, I believe they are, and it's fine. It goes faster. Now that I've got a method, I don't care. They were super slow to plot, super slow.
For 24 hours, that's
game
awesome.
changer.
I'll have to see if on a CPU it does the same sort of thing.
Yeah,
if they're saying that the cache drive is mainly the biggest part of that, I bet it will be faster.
I bet it will, especially if you have a pretty decent.
It's got dual Xeons in that R7.
Oh yeah, you should be fine. You should be fine. Again, it blips and then it waits. I'm using 1060s. So it blips and then it waits. It blips and then it waits. It blips and then it waits. So I doubt. I mean, the Core i3 might have a hard time keeping up. I did try and mine and plot at the same time for a while. I was like, oh, what if I turn my miners on? Let's see what happens. Well, that slowed them way down, probably too much. And then I also turned just one so it only uses one GPU when it's plotting. So I turned that one off in NiceHash, left the other one on and ran it by itself. That's the beauty of NiceHash, is you can kind of select the CPUs you want to run pretty easy. Well, it's 60 cents a drive or 60 cents a CPU per day. And I'm probably paying 35 of that in power, 35 cents of that in power. You're kind of like, probably not. I'm going to wait. I'm going to run it from time to time. Really $1 per card is the sweet spot, right? For me in that one. Lopta says, you ever earn enough from this burst thing to pay for the electricity burned? But no, not yet. Not yet. I don't think. Well, burst is super low power, right? So
you electricity? Yeah, for sure. Enough for the electricity. To pay off the hard drives, that's a different story.
Yeah. Electricity is super cheap because you're not running, it takes very little power to run burst. So, so Ken says, just make sure your miner's up to date and it'll switch automatically to 502.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. And I have the most recent, that's the beauty of the Q bundle, is that it'll give you a little flag and say, hey, Lopta's question is a good one in the sense that I don't do burst for money. I do it because it's a ton of fun. Like,
it is a ton of fun.
I get when it's just running, like I want to break it. So I've got something to fix, you're like, oh, maybe I could tweak it a little bit more so that, and it's
That's
just
when you
the
know
challenge.
you're trying to break it on purpose.
Yeah. No, right on. I can't tell you how many times that there I go with right on. Yeah, right on.
Right on.
I say that all the time. The it's just it's a lot of fun to just kind of lay these things out and set it up and find different configurations, and you get a little coin in the process, and a burst may never go anywhere. It may go somewhere. What did we say about Bitcoin 3 years ago? I told Edward he was freaking crazy. Like, you are crazy.
On the show, I think you just told him that.
If you would have listened, if I would have listened to him on that day, Mike, 100-fold from the day I told him he was crazy till, and not even its peak, like today, it would be 100-fold. Like, it's just stupid.
I just like to see that they're making upgrades on this burst, right? Because they could be abandoning this. It's not a very commonly used crypto, so it's nice to see that they're doing upgrades to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It gives you hope in the.
That's really well done wallet.
It is. It's a very well done wallet.
So,
one of the few cryptos with its own very well done wallet, actually. When you think about it.
And I think so. If you go to if you go to burst-coin, let's see. I think they have Linux based. Almost all of them burst-coin.org. Most of the crypto. Most of the blockchains have both Windows and Mac and Linux options for you to download that. Let me go. You go to the queue. You go to the resources tab, and in fact, they call themselves the Linux of blockchain, which is super funny. It would be hard for them to say that. POC 3 coming soon. Yeah, there's going to be another. We'll go to the wallet. I think you go to the download wallet, and then if you go to the POC, is that the right one? Yeah, they have a Linux version for a local wallet. So yeah, if you want to give it a try, there's a core wallet and some packages out there if you want to do it that way. So it's pretty cool.
There you go.
Other Jim says I used to watch the blocks move on the disk defrag. Yeah, it's kind of like that in some ways. You're kind of every block is like the roll of the dice, and you're like, ooh, am I going to hit that? I think Ken sent me a note. He actually watched in the miner him win. Like he saw it in the miner, which is pretty rare because you're not staring at the miner all the time.
Right.
But he saw it win. And
I've seen one of mine win. Yeah, me too. I've seen one.
Yeah.
I love falling asleep to disk defrag, Emily says.
Yeah, it's something satisfying about watching. Even for me, there's been something satisfying about watching I've got a spreadsheet of all the drives, and I'm going through. It was in the beginning, it was super sloppy because I didn't know what I was doing, and then now I know what I'm doing, and like I want to fix it, and so I'm cleaning up the spaces and combining things together and putting it on the spreadsheet and using different colors. It's really satisfying. So, Lopta, you never pay for a wallet. So you wouldn't, all three platforms are free if you want to give it a try. You need some storage though. You need, Mike, I think you need 10 terabytes to
probably
really do anything.
Terabytes.
So,
unless you just want to get it in a formatted drive to see what we're talking about,
Yeah. No, right on. You could do it
around just plotting and just seeing what we're talking about.
The very first drive that I plotted was 300 gig. I had a laptop drive that I was like, well, let's give this thing a try. I had no idea what I was doing. And so it was one of those things where you're like, well, let's give it a try. So you have a little bit of space. You won't win very often. That's kind of the maddening thing. I've seen a few people who've just set it up with a little bit of storage and they get it going and they're like, God, I'm never going to win. I'm like, well, yeah, you need some storage actually. Right. You need some empty space in 5 to 10 terabytes is kind of what you need. It's weird to think, I have 100 and 8 terabytes sitting in front of
space.
me here. It's stupid is what it is. It's just stupid. But
awesome NAS at the end of this.
Yeah, well, Lopta, we've been talking about it for a long time, actually. And right now, the crypto market, Mike, is that it's as bad as it's ever been. Now, we're talking.
It's not bad as it was like a month or two ago.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close. But
I think it's still double what it was a month or two ago.
Well,
my portfolio at least is.
Okay, Bitcoin.
Where I was at a month or two ago. Now, and I don't have any Bitcoin in my portfolio.
Right. Your altcoins have maybe.
Yeah, I'm all alt. Yeah.
Bitcoin is pretty close. It was at 6,300. Let's see what it's at right now. 60,
that's probably true if I looked at Bitcoin.
65. It's actually picked up a little bit today, which isn't bad. 6,500. If you look at when we were first talking about this, let's see. Let's go to 65. It hit 6,500 November 13th. We were just starting to get into the crypto part of this. We had been messing around with storage and some other stuff, but Bitcoin and GPUs and stuff, we were just starting to talk about this. So it's exactly the same price today as it was when we first started talking about it. And it's been 9 months? That's November. This is so not quite 7 or 8 months. It's exactly the same. So and the hard part is people saw 1,800, and then you that goes back to a third.
Yeah,
of what it was. You're like
the people who all jumped in at that point have just have not recovered.
Emily says, "Oh, the sad $5 of Bitcoin I bought through the Cash App is now down to $3.14." Yeah, that's tough, Emily. So it's still price wise, it's still holding up pretty well, considering what it could be. And, Mike, you and I had a show where we talked about a correction, and I don't think this is as severe as it's going to get. I mean, I think it's still gonna, I think we still have some space to go
down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What's really interesting, here's what I think. So what's really interesting is we still don't have none of these actually do anything. Like none of these cryptocurrencies really do anything yet. So tons of speculation, perfect Gartner hype cycle that we saw back in December and January. So unreasonable expectations, really crazy run, just stupidness. And then now we're on the fall, the disillusionment, the disappointment, this thing doesn't actually do anything kind of thing.
Right.
And it's a perfect time. It weeds people out. It gets the weak leave. The weak companies go under. It really does a nice job of weeding out the cruft. And how long will it take to trough again? I don't know. Maybe next year. I don't know. Nobody knows. I think until we start seeing some really good solutions coming out, that's the next wave. When one of these companies, one of these coins, one of these blockchains says, we have a way of making money. Or we have a real thing here, let's look at the exchanges. That's probably the best right now. The exchange coins actually do real things, and they have some potential right on the exchange. Yeah, that may lead this out of the trough, right? The EOS, the Binance coins that may lead us out of this trough. We still need a little bit more disillusionment to happen before that happens. So I think for folks who kind of hold on through it, would I put more money in this? Maybe, actually, to be honest, I might. As it's on its way down, I might spend a little bit more. Will it make huge returns? I don't know. But again, 3 years ago, we called Edward and come on, dude, and he laughed all the way to the bank on us.
The great part is back then they only had to pick one coin. Hey, do you want to try out this cryptocurrency thing or not? Now it's which horse are you hitching your wagon to? So yeah, I'm gonna get my burst replotted. That's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm using that Turbo Plotter 9000. So I'm gonna go plug in the drives to my other machine and get them going. So I did false alarm on me stopping and turning it into a NAS. I think when I had said that, it had just crashed on me, that converter from POC 1 to POC 2, and I was like, come on, I'll stay in it.
So Lopta did a great thing. He said, rather than buying Bitcoin with the $50 prize money I got in January, I put it into Kava. Kiva, Kiva. You can loan or give money, low interest, to people who will use it in poor and poverty-stricken countries, which is awesome. You can. These are low interest microloans. If I'm going to do something like this, they're actually going to be free interest gifts. Now, you don't want to do that. I mean, there needs to be part of the system. But so he bought a lady a chicken, and that chicken is changing things, which it can. That's the cool thing about those kinds of this kinds of technology and that kind of benevolence is you can, through these microloans, really change the lives of people. And you want to change them in small increments, actually, because if you do big things, it changes the balance of power in villages or in communities, and that can cause big problems. And so giving people big money all at once is never the solution. It needs to be a gradual increase or a gradual wealth building into that. So Kiva, as he says how it's pronounced. That's cool. Interest-free microloans. I think it's a great way to do it. I think interest-free gifts. Although, if they can turn around and repay it and you can deploy that gift to someone else.
There you go.
No, that's even better.
Yeah.
I think that's a very admirable thing to do and a very good one. Not Kiva is not alone. There's other platforms that are doing this, but I think it's a great thing to do and a great thing to support. Thank you. Oh, yikes. Well, I guess I didn't look enough. Sarah came down I was looking for these jeans this morning. I couldn't find them. And so I wore some other ones. She found them. They were right in front of me, basically. So, yeah.
Male finding syndrome is what my wife calls that.
Lopta says if he gets the money back, it's being loaned straight back into right back out again. I think, that'd be a great thing to do is start at $20 a month and get it into the system. And just keep that would be a good thing to just keep building and keep loaning. And to be honest, I would never expect to get that money back. I would go in there, and you might, but why? It's like loaning money to friends. Just give it to them. In this system, it's really important you pay it back. But that being said, I think it'd be good to go in with the mentality I'm never going to see this money again. I'm just going to keep reinvesting it to make people's lives better. So, Lopta, thanks for bringing that up. It's a super awesome program in there. And very, very cool. He said he was pleasantly surprised when the repayments began. Yeah.
Cool.
No, it's super cool. Super cool indeed. Mike, anything else on the crypto?
Not from me.
On the crypto side? I wonder.
I'm going to get to plotting.
How great it would be if you could use a blockchain for all this.
I bet they will.
Kiva.
Yeah.
Actually, that may be one of the best uses for the blockchain yet, because that money, more of the money will make it to them. If I've got to give money here in the United States and it has to go to Nicaragua or Guatemala or Pakistan, chances are all of it is not going to make it because there's just fees.
Fees on top of fees. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Lopta, do you know, maybe they've got some special arrangements where they're able to do this on a low fee basis, something like that. But the blockchain would really cut a lot of that out. If there was on-ramps for fiat in those countries like they are here in the United States, it could keep track of it all and be a great ledger for that. Mark Robson said we do a chili cook-off to raise money for dog rescue. We took our $100 donation per year and roll it up to $2,300 last year. Nice, good job, guys. Good work. We have done and we've been doing Compassion International kid. We just have one, but we've got a teenage girl down in Colombia. Chances are, I think it's $45-$50 a month. Chances are she would be going into sex trafficking or something if she's not taken care of in that community. So when we first started doing it, everybody wants they want the little kids because it makes them feel good. And that's okay. That's fine. Those little kid needs it. But they were the older girls left. And Sarah was like, oh, I was hoping to get, and I'm like, no. These teenage girls need this more than anything. This is the really important part. And so we probably need to do a second, I think, at some point.
That's cool, though.
It's just good to have.
Yeah.
It's just good to have those things. That's how we've chosen to do it. Mark says $5,500 over the last 6 years feels good. Yeah, it gets competitive too. No, it's a good way to do it. You're talking about losing weight and the scale.
Yeah.
Giving competitively is a great way to give.
That's true.
Super great way
fun
to give. So let me think if there's anything else on the crypto side. Burst has been a big deal. Everything else, if you jumped in on the storage side with us or on the Saya side with us, both of those are retooling right now. So storage just had a big town hall meeting. They're moving from V2 to V3 themselves. So they've pretty much stopped taking any new business, and all the data has stopped. So, I haven't seen any new data in a long time. They'll continue to pay for any data that's sitting on the servers that I have. And so I can continue to collect storage coin for that, which they haven't gone public yet. So it's about $1 a coin. We'll see. That makes me $20 a month, maybe. Not much. I could do much with it right now, but not a big deal. So storage, if you got into that with us, it's a quiet period. And I think it's going to take them a couple months to switch over to V3. Saya has just been a mess, to be honest. I'm not sure what's going on over there, Mike. And my host went down when I put the Bitdefender box in here, and I'm like, nah, I'm just going to leave it down.
Not even worrying about it.
Saya is a mess. I keep track of them, but I'm not sure that's a platform. We knew between storage and Saya, storage really had the better options. And I still think they've got a real thing. They could be a real thing. I think it's going to take them a couple years to figure some things out.
But originally, remember, it wasn't that way. We switched from storage to Saya because storage went crazy, and I switched to Saya. So they've a little bit gone back and forth. And right now, definitely, I think storage has moved ahead.
Mark, that's a good question. He asked, how much do you make on storage per terabyte? So it matters on what you're storing plus the movement of the data. If you joined it today, it would be 0 because there's no data right now. They're retooling for V3. I don't know the answer to that question. It's not a lot. Like, you got to think about this, the model on these things. Like, how much does it cost Amazon? What do you pay Amazon to store a terabyte on their cheapest servers? Not very much. They're trying to undercut those guys severely. So it's kind of a flawed model because they're like, hey, come in with a little bit of storage and you can make some money. And you kind of think, oh, cool. And then it's like, I made $3, and then you're like, oh, this is kind of stupid, especially when we have data caps. And they were testing on V2, so they were running tons of data out through the system. And I was routinely, I was doing 500-600 gig a day. Like, it was a ton. Maybe not that much, but close. 120 gig a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy cow, this is not sustainable. I'm going to blow through my 1 terabyte pretty fast. And so it, I did move my Cox service back down to the limited plan. Okay, so I'd gone unlimited.
So you took that back off.
$50.
Yeah. I did the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm back down to the plan. I'm going to watch those just to kind of see what they do. So again, I got into storage. I got into Saya because I wanted to see how the technology was doing. And by the way, Saya had an update. So if you've been doing Saya with us, you should probably go out and check your wallet. There's an update for it. Storage, nothing's changed. They're retooling. It's going to be a couple months. So some cool storage stuff. It's good to follow along. It's a good learning experience. So those are the two that are going on there. Otherwise, Burst, if you're working Burst with us, it's time to replot.
It is.
All right, Mike. I think for those listening live, thanks, guys. Great. Wow, a whole bunch of people stayed around for post. No kidding. Thanks for staying, guys. We'll be back next week, I think. Yeah, I think it's all set for next week. And we'll see you guys. Thanks for coming out.